My name is Goddess461, and I'll be reading Sundays at Tiffany's by James Patterson. I hope you enjoy, and I'll be starting with chapter 1. Every detail of those Sunday afternoons is locked in my memory, but instead of explaining me and Michael right off, I'll start with the world's best, luscious, and possibly most simple ice cream sundae as served at the St. Regis Hotel in New York City. It was always the same. 2 fist-sized scoops of coffee ice cream swirled with a river of hot fudge sauce, the kind that gets thicker, gooey, and chewy when it hits the ice cream. On top of that, real whipped cream. Even at 8 years old, I could tell the difference between real whipped cream and the fake old non-dairy product you squirt from a can. Across from me at the table in the Astor Court was Michael, hands down the most handsomest man I knew or have ever known, for that matter. Also, the nicest, the kindest, and probably the wisest. That day, his bright green eyes watched me gaze at the sundae with undisguised delight as the white-coated waiter set it in front of me with tantalizing slowness. From Michael, a clear glass bowl of melon balls and lemon sherbet. His ability to deny himself the pleasure of a sundae was something my child's brain couldn't wrap itself around. "Thanks so much," Michael said, adding extreme politeness to his list of inviolable qualities, to which the waiter said not a word. The Astor Court was the place to go for a fancy dessert at the St. Regis Hotel. That afternoon it was filled with important-looking people having important-looking conversations. In the background, 2 symphony-worthy violinists fiddled away as if they were at Lincoln Center. "Okay," Michael said, "time to play the Jane and Michael game." I clapped my hands together, my eyes lining up. Here's how it worked. One of us pointed to a table, and the other had to make up stuff about the people sitting there. The loser paid for dessert. "Go," he said, pointing. I looked at the 3 teenage girls dressed in nearly identical pale yellow little linen dresses. Without hesitation, I said, "Debutantes. First season. Just graduated from high school. Maybe in Connecticut. Possibly, probably, Greenwich." Michael tilted his head back and laughed. "You're definitely spending too much time around adults." "Very good, though, Jane. Point for you." "Okay," I said, gesturing toward another table. "That couple over there. The ones who look like the Cleavers and Leave It to Beaver. What's their story?" The man was wearing a gray and blue checked suit, the woman a bright pink jacket with a green pleated skirt. Husband and wife from North Carolina. Michael rounded off easily. Wealthy, owned a chain of tobacco shops. He's here on business. She came to do some shopping. Now he's telling her that he wants a divorce. "Oh," I said, looking down at the table. I let out a deep breath, then took another spoonful of sundae and let the rich flavors unfold in my mouth. "Yeah, I guess everyone gets divorced." Michael bit his lip. "Oh, wait, Jane, I got it all wrong. He's not asking for a divorce. He's telling her that he has a surprise. He's made arrangements for them to go on a cruise to Europe on the QE2. It's their second honeymoon." "That's a much better story," I said, smiling. "You get a point. Excellent." I looked down at my plate and saw that somehow my ice cream sundae had completely vanished, as it always did. Michael looked around the room dramatically. "Here's one you won't get," he said. He pointed to a man and a woman just 2 tables away. I looked over. The woman was about 40 years old, well-dressed and stunningly pretty. You might have taken her for a movie actress. She wore a bright red designer dress and matching shoes and had a big black pocketbook. Everything about her said, "Look at me." The man she was with was younger, pale, and very thin. He was wearing a blue blazer and patterned silk ascot, which I don't think anyone was wearing even back then. He waved his arms enthusiastically as he spoke. "That's not funny," I said, but I couldn't help grinning and rolling my eyes. Because, of course, the couple was my mother, Vivian Margot, the famous Broadway producer, and that year's celebrity hairdresser, Jason. Jason, the hothouse flower who didn't have time for a last name. I looked over them again. One thing was for sure. My mom was beautiful enough to be an actress herself. Once, when I asked her why she hadn't become one, she said, "Honey, I don't want to ride the train. I want to drive the train." Every Sunday afternoon, when Michael and I had dessert at the St. Regis, my mother and a friend had a dessert and coffee there too. That way she could gossip or complain or conduct business but still keep an eye on me without actually having to be with me. After the St. Regis, we would cap off our Sundays at Tiffany's. My mother loved diamonds, wore them everywhere, collected them the way other people collect crystal unicorns or those weird ceramic Japanese cats with the one paw in the air. Of course, I was okay those Sundays because I had Michael for company. Michael, who was my best friend in the world, made my only friend when I was 8 years old. My imaginary friend. Chapter 2. I snuggled closer to Michael at our table. "Want to know something?" I asked. "It's kind of a bummer." "What?" he asked. "I think I know what my mother and Jason are talking about. It's Howard. I think Vivian's tired of him, out with the old and with the new." Howard was my stepfather, my mother's third husband, the third one I knew about anyway. Her first husband had been a tennis pro from Palm Beach. He'd lasted only a year. Then had come Kenneth, my father. He'd done better than the tennis pro, lasting 3 years. He was really sweet and I loved him, but he traveled a lot for business. Sometimes I felt as if he forgot about me. I'd heard my mother tell Jason that he'd been spineless. She didn't know I'd overheard. She said he was a good-looking jellyfish of a man who never amounted to anything. Howard had been around for 2 years now. He never traveled on business and didn't seem to have a job other than helping Vivian. He massaged her feet when she was tired, checked that her food was salt-free, and made sure that our car and driver were absolutely always on time. "Why do you think that?" Michael asked. "Little things," I said. "Like Vivian used to buy him stuff all the time. Fancy loafers from Paul Stewart and ties from Bergdorf Goodman's, but she hasn't given him anything in ages. And last night she ate at home, alone, with me. Howard wasn't even there." "Where was he?" Michael asked. I could see the sympathy and concern in his eyes. "I don't know. When I asked Vivian, she just said, 'Who knows and who cares?'" I imitated my mother's voice, then shook my head. "Okay," I said. "New topic. Guess what day Tuesday is?" Michael tapped his chin a few times. "No idea." "Come on, you know perfectly well." "You know, Michael, this isn't funny. Valentine's Day?" "Stop it," I told him, kicking him gently under the table. He grinned. "You know what Tuesday is. You have to. It's my birthday." "Oh, yeah. Why are you getting old, Jane?" I nodded. "I think my mother is having a party for me." Michael said. "Well, anyway, I don't care about a party, really. What I really want is a real live puppy." Michael nodded. "Cat got your—" I started to say, but then stopped in mid-sentence. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Vivian signing the check. In a minute, she and Jason would be standing over our table, hustling me off. This Sunday at the St. Regis was coming to a close. It had been another wonderful afternoon for me and Michael. "Here she comes, Michael," I whispered. "Look invisible." That is the end of my 2 chapters of this book, and I hope you enjoy the reading of this. Thank you.